We have a presentation from U.S. Space Force. We have DeAndre Floyd and Caleb Beggs are going to come up and speak. They're going to talk about all of the things Space Force. They have only 20 minutes, so I'm going to cut my intro short to give them all his time. A round of applause for these folks.
Today, space is essential not only to our way of life, it's absolutely critical to the modern way of war. GPS, ATMs, cell phones, gas pumps, traffic lights, power grids, guided missiles, surveillance, RPAs, ground combat control. There's no such thing as a day without space operations. You just don't see them. Earth is only half the battle. Cyber attacks and jamming of our satellites. Microsatellites that can create a debris field. At 17,000 miles an hour, a piece of metal the size of a coin can be weaponized. Now is the time for a military branch with a clear and singular focus on space. A military branch that protects the hopes and dreams of America and our way of life as the space domain becomes more and more contested. It's time for another giant leap. The United States Space Force is being built from the brightest minds across the space operations of the Air Force, our joint services, and the private sector. We aren't just getting ready for the near future, we're getting ready for the 22nd century. When our enemies ask, what if? We will have an answer. When foreign powers can build bases on the dark side of the moon, when private companies are inventing a new economy beyond our planet, we need to stay one step ahead of the future. And the future is where we'll make history. We will fight in an environment with no up or down, no left or right, where there are no borders and nowhere to hide. Our Space Force is defending our country, here on Earth and wherever our mission takes us. As commerce and exploration expand, we will imagine the unimaginable, anticipate the inconceivable, and prepare for the impossible. We won't just think outside the box. We'll think outside the atmosphere, in one of the most challenging environments ever known.
All right, how's everybody doing? What's going on? I know we got more energy than that. How's everybody doing? Let's go. How was that video? Good? Bad? What do you guys think? How was the video? You loved it? You want us to play it again?
3, 2, 1, ignition.
All right. So I'm looking around, and it looks like there's a lot of familiar faces here that we've talked to over the past couple days. So welcome back, and good to see you guys again. But there's a decent amount of folks that I don't recognize. So for those of you that haven't introduced yourselves to us, I am Tech Sergeant DeAndre Floyd, accompanied with First Lieutenant Caleb Beggs, and we're here to talk to you about the Space Force. Alrighty, so what we're going to talk about, okay? We're going to talk about who we are, why are we here, okay? We're going to talk about what we do. We're also going to talk about some education requirements for the Space Force, and then we're going to talk about our personal journeys just a little bit. Okay, all right, so who are we? Why are we here? What do we do? So sorry to burst a lot of your bubbles, okay? We do not know Steve Carell. Okay, sorry, and we do not work with the Men in Black. We do not work with them. But I can say that we do, maybe we know a little bit of things about aliens, so yeah, we'll just keep that on the down low, okay? But we are the Department of Defense's newest military branch, okay? We're the newest military branch, stood up in 2019, all right? About 10,000 strong and only getting stronger every single day. okay? Only getting stronger every single day. So just like any other military branch, there's a structure. We have field commands, deltas, and squadrons. Field commands being the overarching categories of how we identify what we need to be working on, right? So we have Space Training and Readiness Command, or STARCOM. We leaned really heavy into the nerdy side of the Space Force. We have Space Operations Command, or SPOC. And then we have Space Systems Command, which is going to be SSC. That's our acquisitions folks. We also have deltas, which just further identifies special niches, and then squadrons, which consist of the folks actually doing the work, doing the jobs. So the big question is, what do we do? So does anybody know what we do as a Space Force? And don't look at the slide. Don't look at the slide. Way in the back. Here, come up front. Come up front. Everybody give him a hand. You do stuff in space. Okay. Got anything else? Set foot on Mars. Okay, hopefully one day. Hopefully one day we'll set foot on Mars. For me, I like my feet on the ground, so it won't be me going to Mars. I can promise you that. But our main mission is to secure our nation's interests in, from, and to space, okay? In, from, and to space. So what does that mean, in, from, and to space? So I heard somebody else say something about monitoring something.
Yeah, monitoring for threats.
Monitoring for threats. Okay, so all sorts of threats. So let's talk about in space, okay? In space. So potential threats for my intents and purposes, what I used to do, we called it collision avoidance, okay? Collision avoidance. So monitoring for threats, we want to make sure that our satellites don't collide via the video, right? That's going to create a large debris field, and that's something that we don't want. That's going to be a danger for everyone, and including ourselves, so we want to make sure that we're monitoring for collisions out in space, okay? Satellite missions such as GPS, okay, that's going to be from space. We have our satellites up there just beaming down data, and that's for everybody to use, okay? So for GPS, that supports so many different sections, right? So agriculture, position navigation and timing, right? So just getting to the Maker Faire, going home from the Maker Faire, okay? That's something that we provide. And then launching and supplying missions, that's going to be to space. So that's going to be the space satellite systems folks out in LA, getting those contracts, getting that acquisitions to put stuff up in space. So we're actually going to take a time out. We're going to look at something real quick here. All right, so what we have here is an overall view, and hopefully everyone can see it. Cool, fantastic. All right, so what we have here is an overall view of space, okay? So one of the civilian aspects of the military, GPS. This is another function that the military supports that anyone can use, okay? So let's look and see what we have going on in space. So let's zoom in here. So all of these little dots are objects in space, whether it be rocket bodies, debris, active satellites. These are all things that are just floating around that we have to keep track of. This is called space domain awareness. We want to keep track of everything in space to make sure that these things don't collide. So if we look here, right, we have the surface of the Earth. And if you see right above it, we have a lot of green dots here, okay? So space is actually closer than you think, okay? It is just right above us. So this fuzzy little ball here of all these green dots, this is called LEO, okay? This is low Earth orbit. This is called LEO. This is where the majority of our vehicles are. So think the International Space Station, think Starlink, OneWeb, Project Kuiper. Those are all internet functions. Think Iridium, so satellite communications. All of those things are here in LEO. And these are all things that we have to keep track of. If we zoom out just a little bit, everything in the middle here, this is called medium Earth orbit, or MEO. And then if we zoom out just a little bit further, everything in this ring, this is all called GEO, or geosynchronous orbits. So think Dish Network, DirecTV, right? These are in a geosynchronous orbit, meaning that they rotate along with the rotation of the Earth, okay? So from our perspective, those satellites appear not to move, okay? So think of like a satellite dish on top of your house. When you set that thing up, it doesn't move, right? It just stays in a stationary location. In order for us to achieve that, we have to go out to GEO. It has to be in a geostationary orbit. So we're just gonna take one more look here, kind of zoom in, and the yellow line that goes along with it, that is the propagated orbit for that particular satellite that I have highlighted. So that's where that vehicle will be going over a period of time. Okay. All right, so just wanted to talk a little bit about education in space. Okay, education in space. This is the Maker Faire, and I know there's a lot of bright young minds out there, so I just want to inform you, right? We are not recruiters, I promise. We're instructors, but I do want to inform you that education is important, school is important, especially if you have a STEM background, okay? So entry requirements for Guardians, all right? For enlisted, high school diploma, qualifying ASVAB scores, okay? Pretty straightforward stuff. But for us, for the Space Force, right, our ASVAB scores have to be really high, okay? They have to be really high in order to be competitive. Same for officers, right? The officer route, bachelor's degree, and qualifying AFOQT scores. Now here's some of the things that you will learn if you decide to come to the Space Force. These are things that we highlight, things that we focus on. Okay, so orbital mechanics and physics, that's what we just saw, all right? The original application is a satellite tracking tool, but if you see that line that went along with it, that's gonna be orbital mechanics. Where's that vehicle going, right? How long is it gonna take that vehicle to come back around to its originating location, okay? The electromagnetic spectrum, okay? So that plays in line with our electronic warfare folks. So orbital mechanics, that's gonna be orbital warfare. And then electronic warfare, that's gonna be our electromagnetic guys. Computer science, so we do have cyber folks as well, along with remote sensing and systems engineering. And with that, I'm gonna pass it to First Lieutenant Caleb Beggs.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. So like Sergeant Floyd was saying, I'm Lieutenant Beggs. Quickly, just wanted to run you guys through real quick. This being the Maker Faire, a very STEM-heavy event, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We wanted to just quickly give you guys an overview of how we as space and the Space Force are utilizing STEM. So science, figuring out how space works. If you guys saw in the video, there is no real up or down, left or right in space. So utilizing science to figure out how space works, studying weather in space, studying how far away planets are, and learning how to keep our satellites safe in a space environment. Also technology, building and using our cool space gadgets, whether that be satellites, launching rockets, or special sensors that we might use to see things and do things in space. And then engineering, designing and building things for space, for the future of space. We need engineers. You have to be creative, willing to tackle those hard problems that aren't necessarily the same problems that we face here on Earth, where we have gravity and things like that. And then lastly, math, so solving those space problems. Space is hard. It is a hard environment to deal with, so we need people who have that math background, that knack for mathematics that can help us to solve these math problems and solve these space problems. We must use math to understand how space works, physics to understand how space works. Calculating how fast our rockets need to go, where our satellites should be positioned for their operations and their missions and payloads, and then helping us to avoid collisions, as Sergeant Floyd was talking about. Lastly, we want to just end off real quickly with kind of a little bit of our journey and how we got to where we are. So for myself, I graduated from high school. I really loved math and science classes. I then went to college at the University of South Florida, where I participated in what is called the Reserve Officer Training Corps, or ROTC. graduated with my Bachelor's of Arts in Political Science, and then received my commission as a second lieutenant in the Space Force. I then went to technical training out at Vandenberg Space Force Base here in California, where I learned the basics of space and learned how to speak the space language, a lot of the post-entry requirements that Sergeant Floyd was talking about. And then I was selected for this unique opportunity to stay and be an instructor and teach now our new enlisted Guardians how to speak space as well. So now I'm going to hand it back over to Sergeant Floyd, and he's going to talk about him and his journey.
All right. All right, so I entered the military back in 2007, just right after high school. I graduated in May of 2007 and then went into the military in July. So really didn't have much of a summer break, just straight in. But it's been quite a journey. I have a lot of experience. I've done a lot of things. I used to be an aircraft mechanic. I used to work on F-15s. I've worked on the U-2, which is a really cool aircraft, which for this area you guys should be really familiar with. And I have quite a bit of experience in space assignments as well. I've done missile warning, space domain awareness. I've been to Thule a couple of times. For those of you that don't know where Thule is, it is pretty much like the most northern base you can get to. It is very, very, very cold, and it's very high up on the map. I have a little bit of experience with GPS as well. That was one of my shorter experiences, but I do have some knowledge on that too. So unfortunately, we don't have too much time, but I would love to talk to you guys about some of the missions that we do in the Space Force. If you haven't come to see us over in the booth, please do. Yeah, we'd love to have a chat and talk about the missions that we do, more than just what we talked about in this setting. Okay. So that's going to be all for us. Does anybody have any questions?
We got time for 2 questions. Anybody want questions?
Hello. Do you anticipate any space battles with different, parties or anything to do with protecting our satellites, things like that?
Absolutely, good question. So that is one of the core functions that we have. So orbital warfare. There's not a whole lot that we can speak on when it comes to orbital warfare, but kind of what I was saying before with collision avoidance. Destroying vehicles in space is not the way to go. Right? If you destroy something, that kinetic energy that those debris pieces have, they're just going to come back around and destroy your vehicle, right? So it's kind of, I don't know, double-edged sword. So hopefully we don't get to that point. Yeah, we don't want to destroy vehicles in space. That's not something that we are focused on. Good question.
Can we get a big? Oh, we got one more.
I was just curious how the satellites actually move while in space, and do they use the global positioning system to, like, you're tracking it, is it actually using the global positioning system to track?
That is also a really good question. So for the vehicles that are already up in space, it's called satellite C2, or command and control. So as the vehicles are over in space, right, they are basically yelling down, hey, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, to our ground antennas, right? That's how we know where they are, okay? GPS does have a factor in that as well, but mostly it's the satellites telling the ground where they are. And then also our ground radars, optical telescopes, space-based telescopes, keeping an eye in the sky to see where all of our vehicles are. Good question.
Can we give a big round of applause for these folks?
Awesome.
If you have any follow-up questions, their booth is just behind us. So if you could go right behind us, they have a big booth right next to the luminarium, okay? Thank you very much. We have another talk starting in about 40 seconds.
All right, thank you guys for your time, and as always, Semper Super.